Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Desaster, Kill All Idols, out August 22nd on Metal Blade Records. The album has 10 tracks, 39 minutes in length, and this is the band's 10th full-length studio record. They are a German black thrash metal band. When it comes to the design of this record, I honestly felt the album was put together almost thinking about a live set list. How do we want to present the band in a live setting, and how can we bring that presentation or that thought process into the studio and then put it into a record format? To me, that is exactly how this album was created, at least from a design and structural standpoint, because it has all the right elements. It has the right ebbs and flows, it has the right movement, lack of repetition, a lot of diversity, a lot of versatility, an outro that closes off the record, an album that has only 10 songs in 39 minutes, making some of the tracks really short, allowing you to get to the end of the record and almost not even realizing that you are at the end, which creates incredible playability, because when you get there, you're ready to go back again to the beginning and listen to it all over again without feeling bored or that the album overstays its welcome. It's just a fresh sounding record at every single turn, and I honestly felt that the design of the album really mimics the experience of the band live as far as a set list is concerned, or at least what you want it to be. And I think that's an important aspect for an album that also has this sort of sound. A sound that doesn't follow patterns, that doesn't feel repetitive, that connects with the DNA of the band, connects with the discography of the band, but it doesn't repeat itself, or at least doesn't feel like it's repeating the formula of the previous record. This album offers new ideas, fresh ideas, different influences in the sound. It's an album that has a lot more speed, a lot more intensity, a lot more volume, a lot more size, still having a black metal portion of the sound permeate throughout the record, specifically the more darker aspects of the band's sound. Still a lot of thrashy riffs throughout, but the overall intensity in the sound, the overall drive in the sound definitely brings some speed metal elements into the picture, which blended in with the other two main genres, to the other two main influences, works extremely well. It creates a more dynamic, a more rich sounding album, and I would go as far as to say that this album is actually quite textured, and you don't have to go too far to see that texture. Look at the bass sound on this album. The bass sound on this album is really interesting to me, because it would have been a lot easier perhaps for the band to allow the bass to pop quite a bit in the mix, because that would create some grooves and that would create some rawness around the overall sound, which I feel would go perhaps really well with a more dark black metal side of Desaster. That's not the approach that they took. They blended the bass a little bit better in the overall mix, so there are moments, there are songs in which it creeps up ever so slightly, just enough for you to notice, but most of the time it's really squeezed in the overall mix of the record. Still noticeable enough if you're paying attention to it, but not noticeable enough to the point that it distorts the track or that it jolts the track. Really smart, really well done, adding, like I said, thickness and texture to the sound, to the tracks, but in a way that it's so much more easier for the listener to digest, taking nothing away from the main focus of the record, which is the guitar sound. This is a guitar focus, a guitar driven record. You see it in the intensity of the songs, you see it in the tempo, in the drive, in the influences that we get from the more melodic black metal side of the band, but also the influences that we get from those incredibly thrashy riffs that this album has. So the guitars are really the barometer of where you're going with the influences that you have, and how they define Desaster's sound on this album is definitely starting and ending with that guitar sound and that guitar execution. I still love the bass, like I mentioned it, but I feel like this is definitely an album that puts the guitars in the forefront. And one of the ways to do that is also to have a great drum sound that feels like it has substance to it, that feels like it has thickness to it, but not overshadowing what the guitars are doing. The guitars are definitely on a pedestal. Drums, bass a little bit further back, drums with a little bit more impact in the mix, bass a little bit more melted into the overall sound mix. That is the levers, the levels and the layers that this record offers sound-wise, which at times feels very rustic, It feels very aggressive. It feels very raw, but the production never falls off to that scale, so it keeps it a little bit together and allows it to have, I wouldn't say that this is a clean production, but it allows it to have that more live experience permeating through the sound. Even in the way the bass impacts the sound, it has that live experience to it, and I think that is what makes this album so unique and so creative, is how those different influences in sound merge well with one another, and then with the right production behind it, you don't allow the album to be old school, you allow the album to be a little bit more lively, to have more of a live experience, and that brings a new aroma to the Desaster sound on Kill All Idols. And that to me is key and is fundamental to how the overall sound works. Now, an element of consistency, vocals. I love the quality, I love the execution, I love what they offer, the intensity that they bring to the table, ever so slightly, when I mean this, ever so slightly adjusting to the songs, to the style, to the influences, to better serve the tracks, but never going too far off the beaten path, allowing itself to become that glue that holds it all together, that red line that runs through this record, regardless if a song is faster or slower. The vocals feel super consistent with incredible quality top to bottom. Put all of this together, you end up having one of the best. You could easily make an argument that this is top 5, top 3 Desaster records of all time. This is an absolute gem of an album. So much fun to listen to this record. If you like that more speed metal influence, black thrash sounding style records, this album is definitely for you. It has a ton of riffage, it's fast, it's driven, it's aggressive, and it feels like it's been recorded live. I love that sort of experience in the studio, and these guys delivered in spades as far as Kill All Idols is concerned. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, let's start off with Emanation of the Profane. Wow, what a great riff. Memorable, catchy, super repetitive, but it's so good, so catchy, so memorable that it could repeat itself forever. You would never get tired of it. That is the beauty and the quality of the guitar playing and of the riffage on this specific song. The subtle bass in the mix is great. It's something that's going to be there throughout the entire album. Obviously some songs a little bit more, but most of them follow the pattern of this track. The drums help give size to the song, making this at times, the way the drums sound and the way the guitars come in with that riff, makes the song feel a little bit more like a melodic black metal track with some speed elements mixed into it, because the thrashier side of the song really pushes itself almost into that speed metal arena. So this makes the song very driven, very riff focused, and the vocals fit in like a glove to the right dynamics of the track, to the right momentums of the track, creating an amazing song that is complete all around. Then you have Kill the Idol. This is another fast track. I really like the fast songs on this record. Not that I don't like the slower ones, but I gravitate more towards these blackened, thrashy speed metal style tracks, and this is another one of those. This one rips through the speakers. It has a great black metal essence to it, but it's infused with incredible thrash sounding metal riffs, and that is the symbiosis that exists within this song. Once again, you get that subtle bass sound, which in my opinion is really important. It helps give some character, it helps give some soul to the song. The track never really slows down. I mean, there is a moment within the song that the track slows down, but when it slows down, it picks up a very heavy thrashy riff that just makes the track feel like it's bursting at the seams. And then it goes back to that speed, to that intensity that really makes this allows this element to be the focal point of the entire song. Having that heavier portion within the track makes everything that comes before and everything that comes after feel even faster. Great song all around. Last but definitely not least, They Are the Law. Once again, great guitar sound. I felt like the bass on this track pops quite a bit, a little bit more than usual as far as this record is concerned. It is a super driven song in the verses. The riffage is insane. The chorus is super simple and super repetitive, both musically and vocally. This adds a sense not only of repetition, but it adds a sense of simplicity in its repetition as far as the chorus is concerned, which makes the song stand out. Not that it has a great riff or not that it has a great lyrical chorus per se, but the way that the repetition of the sound with the repetition of the vocals hit in that chorus definitely allows the song to stand out in your mind, because those words become engraved and in the experience, and they become part of the experience that you're having when you're listening to this song. I love the matching of the speed with the intensity. It's a track that has a thicker sound, a more blackened speed metal track with a thicker sound, but it's a great song all around. And I love the darkness of the chorus, because the chorus is not just catchy and hooky and repetitive musically and vocally, it also has an inherent darkness to it, in the way the vocals deliver the chorus and in the way the sound hits those vocals. This is it, Desaster with Kill All Idols, once again out August 22nd on Metal Blade Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.